Today, I just wanted to talk to you about what to do if your child runs off. Yes, runs off. It has happened to me. We were out in the park, a very big park, and it was just a beautiful day. I turned around and I saw my son halfway across the field. I'm not a very athletic person, and yeah, that day I ran, and I think it was just adrenaline that got me to catch up with him because he was so fast and it happened in the blink of an eye. Like literally, we got out the car, I put him down, and this is not so long ago, and I went to turn and he was all the way across the field, and it was so nerve-wracking, it was worrying, I was panicking because your initial reaction is to call out to them and to say stop, but he didn't want to stop. It was just, I don't know whether he felt that he was free, he just wanted to run. I was absolutely petrified, but nothing happened apart from me having a panic attack. My son found it extremely hilarious, but I wanted to talk about it because it is a real thing and it is a real worry. I'll give you another example where we were at home and I heard the front door go and turned around, and my daughter noticed that my son had come out the front door and was heading up the road towards the car, our normal route when we go into nursery. And again, thank God nothing happened to him. She caught him literally a few steps up from the house and managed to bring him back. Now, those sort of examples are real life examples, and an issue that I wanted to talk to you about, just to let you know that it happens. And there are things that you can put in place to try and prevent that from happening. So let's start with why your child with additional needs runs away. It could be purely that they're just sensory seeking. They're just looking for something that they can't get. Or in my son's example, their lack of danger. My son is a great climber. He very rarely has accidents. He will climb up high. He can climb on tables, he can climb ladders, he can, he's even trying to climb fences. He has an absolute lack of danger awareness. And, as a parent, that is worrying. But I know that's the case, and I also know that there's something that I can do about it. It can also be frustration with communication or lack thereof. My son, as you all will probably know, is non-speaking, and I know he gets frustrated from how he approaches us, the meltdowns, and I'll talk about that in a separate video. The way he launches at us, or he may look to bite us when he just can't communicate with us, or we just haven't interpreted how he's trying to communicate with us. Or it could be simply just down to impulsivity. And as with my example that I gave with my son running off in the field, he was so happy, and we were all laughing after we got over the initial shock, but it was just something really impulsive, something that he wanted to do. He's a fantastic runner. He was so fast, but I don't think it was anything, intentional. Things that have worked for us is labeling everything, and also having body harnesses for him. He doesn't particularly like that, especially the one that goes around the wrist. So there's an extendable harness for the hand and the wrist. So one's on his hand and one's on the other adult's hand, and he doesn't particularly like that. And again, that could be a sensory issue. He just can't tolerate that around his wrist. So what I also have is an upper body harness, where he can walk maybe a few steps in front of an adult, but we still have control of how far he goes. that is more tolerable to him and works for us as a family when we do have to go out. So you could try something like that. For other parents that I've spoken to, they've used wearable technology. Again, that doesn't work for every child. I know if I try to put something around my son's wrist, be it a watch, a GPS tracker, something like that, by the time I've turned around, he would have taken it off or snapped it off. What we do try to do is to have some sort of boundary training at home, telling him about stopping, practicing stop and come here, those sort of things. And again, I know it takes time. It's taken time for us. And as I said, he still does it now, to a point where I make sure everywhere's locked. I double check and I triple check that everything is locked. The front doors, everybody's got a key. Everybody comes in and they lock it and take the key out. The back door, my boundary is secure. So if he goes at the back door, I know he can't get to the front of the house. He'll just go in the garden, which again is secure. But I'm mindful that he can use a key, at 4, nearly 5 years old, he can open doors. So I'm just being more mindful of my surroundings. When I take him to nursery, it's not possible to park outside the nursery gates. So we have to park a little way out on the next side street and walk down. But what we do now, he's so used to sort of holding my hand. And if there's a lot of noise on the road, he will come into my arms. So I know that I have to physically carry him, so there's no chance of him running away. Support that we do have is just letting everybody knows that he runs. Like, he doesn't walk away, he doesn't just step away, he runs, he sprints. So inform everyone, inform family, inform friends, inform educational settings, schools, nurseries, etc. Your neighbours. If you have that sort of relationship with them, you may wish to inform them. You may also want to think about getting identification bracelets, obviously without disclosing too much of your personal information, but that may help also. And this is just to say you're not alone. I've been there, and I'm sure many other parents have been there as well and can share experiences of when their child ran away. If that has happened to you, I would love to hear from you. Please give me some stories and examples in the comments. I would love to read them. And I just think that we should talk about these things that may once have been taboo, and just normalise that our children have additional needs and we have to come to them as opposed to them coming to us. Now, if this resonated with you, you can book a call-in with me by clicking the link in the description below, and you and I can have a conversation about whether we can work together or whether I could possibly help you.